So I just saw the vehicle for today, and as much as I want to do a rinseless, it looks like because of the condition of the exterior, we are going to have to suck it up. We're gonna have to pressure wash this thing because it would add probably an hour or two for me to just do a rinseless wash. Hopefully it's warm enough outside. It says it's 34 degrees and we've got a really strong wind, but it's definitely just turned into a lot bigger job and a lot longer day. And it's gonna be cold. I'm tired. Lord, give me strength. We got this. This is today's project that we're working on. This is a 2013 Camry. So obviously, yes, we've got some body issues. When we do our paint correction, we might be able to, maybe, I'm not really chasing this. This is what I'm working on right now. You can see we've got a lot of black staining on the paint, and there's very, very little reflection on this paint. I think we're right at that point where if we can cut through all this oxidation, we can prevent bigger issues for her. It is pretty major up here, and this does look like it's pitted into it, so we might be beyond the point of saving this up here. See, we've got bird droppings, splatter that have just kind of etched into it, but there's very little reflection and gloss on this paint. So when your vehicle starts to get like this, it's essential that you reach out to a professional detail or have your vehicle detailed. But oh, good Lord, looks like they just like brushed up against a tree or something. So we've got a lot of tar, we've got a lot of road boogers, we've got a lot of deeper scratches. My goal with the paint enhancement isn't paint perfection. It's to remove the oxidation, restore gloss and shine. If we can blend some of this, that's great. Now, on the inside, this is the biggest issue. She said she had some soup and she spilled it. So we're gonna see what we can remove dry soiling wise. That looks like vomit. That does not look like soup. That's gross. I really hope that's not vomit, but it looks like vomit. I'm pretty sure that's vomit. I don't normally do vomit. But we've got a light colored interior. Thankfully, well, this is like an Alcantara, and they're very prone to wicking, and it does look like we have a lot of soiling, so I think we are gonna deal with some wicking here, but we are gonna extract this. As much as I don't like doing that, or because we're gonna have wicking, if I don't flush out all of this dirt, if I just put a lot of solution down on this, surface clean it, as soon as she spills something on this again, we're gonna have a clean ripple. So you really gotta flush it out, and we'll just deal with whatever we gotta deal with. But a lot of body oil on our inserts. Looks like we've got some makeup, we've got some dust and things like that on all of our plastics. I'm always doing a quick assessment, and we're gonna obviously take before and after pictures, so that way, one, for marketing, two, for insurance purposes. Thankfully, it's leather. We can use Superior Products leather cleaner to cut through all of this dirt, put all of this stuff right here. We're gonna also vacuum out all the leaves in our engine compartment. We wanna make sure that we get all of these seals clean, so that way we don't have issues with our headliner. And then our trunk, let's see what we got here. Ooh, okay, so we're gonna vacuum all of this up, vacuum this out. We'll do a quick extraction. So honestly, when it comes to extraction, the worst are our inserts. These back mats, they're not bad at all, actually. That should clean up pretty easily. I think the soup is gonna be our biggest challenge. And then obviously we just have impact dirt on this mat. So we need to do really, really good vacuuming. Looks like it hasn't been done in a while. So there's only so much that you can do sometimes when you've got tan interiors like this and a lot of dirt. So there might be some staining. We can remove the soiling, but there might be some staining just from the dirt being there too long. But we'll get everything nice and clean. First, we're gonna vacuum, try to get out all the loose soiling as much as possible, see where we land with temperature, and then get this pressure washed. We're gonna use our Stars and Stripes from Chemex. This is a acid and an alkaline. You combine them together, it makes an exothermic reaction, and it kind of punches up the cleaning potency. So that way we can fight through all the grime, do a wash, clay towel, very quickly pull it into the garage. We're gonna do a paint enhancement. We'll figure out this is Japanese paint. So typically you can do medium polish, yellow foam pad, do a really good job. We'll also be able to very quickly just do a quick polish on our headlights. We're not doing necessarily a polish, a headlight restoration. We're just gonna polish them. I think they're at a point where we can at least make a big improvement but there is clear coat failure on them, obviously. So we can at least enhance and improve, remove the staining, remove the flatness on the paint, and then we'll put a ceramic sealant down just to give her a little bit more protection for wintertime, but she's gonna really have to do a little bit of a better job when it comes to protection, or else this is gonna return. So this is a lot of work. I just did a quick rundown explaining to you guys what all I have to do. I'll try to show you guys little shots here and there, but here's our before, and stay tuned for the after. I think I know where it can go. I just know that my back is gonna hurt really bad by the time it's all done. It always kills me when sometimes all that's really needed is just a really good vacuuming. Oh, we found the jackpot. We'll find a lot more when we get to the back. I'm not even gonna attempt blowing it out right now. There's so much dust in here, and since we're working inside, I'm trying to keep my environment somewhat clean as I can. So we're gonna do a little bit more vacuuming than I would if this was something that I could do outside. But we're still gonna use the blowout tool. We're just gonna get the big stuff up here. But like all this stuff, that will come out when we blow it out. The issue is that these mats have been down for so long that the rubber has actually like stained the carpet. And yeah, this is a crappy brush because I'm doing kind of a crappy job right now. This is a lot faster. So for all this heavy dirt, and look how much better it looks just by doing this. It doesn't take much, guys. It's maintenance. It's all about maintenance. Wow, she's got a lot of these. That is, it looks like fingernail clippings. That's gross. We're gonna save those for her. I mean, I don't encourage the car wash, but that'll help keep some of the staining off the vehicle. So while our seat is up, sometimes that gives you a better angle to get into this area. But yep, I knew it. Now that we pulled our seat up, you can see all of this stuff under the seat. And you can actually get pretty, from pushing this seat back and vacuuming up there to now pushing this all the way forward. This gives you access to pretty much the entire side of the seat. So for those of you that always say, how do you guys get alongside of seats without pulling? And it's just pulling your seat forward and backwards. Using the right attachments, brushes, and like my daddy said, get down and look up.
Ew, 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 ew. It feels so gross. I'm trying to blow out what we can. For that, will I clog my vacuum? I don't have to.
A lot of crayons in here.
Does anybody ever feel like they gotta wash their gloves? I do.
Alright, this is the gross part. You literally want to try to scrape off anything that can be scraped off. Looks like we've had some old spills back in here as well. Like just really old ones. What frustrates me, and I don't know if customers are watching this, but what frustrates me is when people bring things to me that I can tell that they didn't try to clean up themselves. They're just like, let the detailer do it. And honestly, like 75% of the issue can be removed. Look, it's coming up with a vacuum, guys. Literally, if she'd have just vacuumed and then maybe used an enzyme solution, you can block clean. A lot of this stuff is dry soiling. probably don't have the gear or the chemicals, which I totally get. Look, I'm cutting through it. Just get the dry soiling up. Don't even try to introduce moisture to this until you get the dry soiling up. So we're literally going to use our attachment and this stiff brush. Nope, I'm not breathing. I'm holding my breath. This is where agitation is so key to proper prep before you extract. Now, the customer did not ask me to do an engine bay detail, so we are not cleaning the engine, but I am going to clean this out because there's drains, there's ventilation that all of this can affect. And a lot of people, they notice this, right? They see this and they're like, I didn't get my car detailed if this isn't done. I have one customer, that's the first thing she looks at after I've detailed a vehicle. So as much as I could just very quickly do a degreasing and blow this out, we also have an issue that this is an older vehicle. And the customer did not authorize me to do a engine bay detail. It's extra. All right, we're trying to keep the cost down for them. And if something goes wrong electronically and they didn't authorize that, and I do it, out of the goodness of my heart, now I'm liable. So those are things that you just have to think about sometimes. I think as detailers, sometimes we want to do nice things. We want to be nice. We want to go above and beyond. I always hear under promise, over deliver. But with things like this, sometimes you just have to take that into consideration. You got fuses, hoses, electrical components. On older vehicles, sometimes, unless they authorize it, we're just going to go the safe route. And we'll get this vacuumed out and cleaned. Unless the customer were to say to me, do an engine bay detail, I'm not going to go that extra yard. But we'll do that in other areas where there's not necessarily liability on the line. So this is the not fun part. We got the interior vacuumed. Now we're going to bundle up. We're going to go outside and we're going to pressure wash. Let's see what our temperatures are at. That is not a good number, guys. It says 38, and we've got a wind chill so hard that I can actually feel my garage door moving. So, looks like I'm going to be cold. We're going to get my Vessi waterproof boots on. These are suede. They're going to get destroyed. I've got waterproof boots. We're going to put our waterproof gloves on, jacket, hat, and pray to God that we can get this done. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all of the materials that we need ready, so that way I can try to keep as much heat in here as possible. We're actually going to turn the heat off because I'm just wasting it at this point. But we're going to do tires and wheels. We're going to pressure wash, do our foaming pre-soak pressure wash. We are going to be using a brush. Do not judge me. We're using a perfectly safe brush. It's going to do a little bit better job scrubbing all this stuff off. We might even use a smaller brush to get in like around the door handles and things like that, because it is literally, like, you can see barnacles on this vehicle. Hopefully our soap will break a lot of that down. So we have Dark Fury for our door jambs, Stars and Stripes for our foaming pre-soak, Apex Auto Wash for our contact wash, and Blaze Direct for our tires and wheels. That sky does not look good. And it is so cold, we might actually have snow. You're gonna be snow. So if you've ever had to wash a vehicle outdoors when it's cold, windy, and in the shade, you know that the biggest issue you might deal with is water freezing on the car. Now, we were just at that point where we didn't have to deal with that on the vehicle. It did freeze on the driveway a little bit, but we're using stronger chemicals to be able to get this done as quickly as possible. Superior Products Dark Fury to touchless clean all of our door jambs, door handles, and seals, and then Blaze Direct to clean all of our tires and wheels. Once we're done with those intricate areas, we're going to foam on Stars and Stripes, one on top of the other simultaneously, let that sit, pressure wash the heavy dirt off, then we're going to come in and use the perfectly safe brush to wash the vehicle with Apex Auto Wash. That actually did a really great job at deep cleaning the vehicle, and then we're going to come in with a medium grit clay towel, decontaminate the paint, rinse the vehicle off, and then put everything away so that way we can get back inside the warm garage. So it is 12:57. Pretty sure that took us an hour because I had a premiere that was starting right when we started. So good time. I was Very glad that we actually used the brush because these are from last year and I can actually see the plastic part that kept my hands from getting wet broke down, so I need to order some. Best investment I ever made on Amazon. Carlos Serrano, if you don't have these, well, you don't need them in Texas, but they're orange. But these fleece lined gloves, honestly, they do keep my hands are warm because I had the nitrile gloves. They didn't get wet. I just could feel like the cold water. But I have a boot warmer. We're gonna get these to dry. In fact, we're just probably gonna order 2 or 3 more pair because they are my lifeline in the winter time. I'm actually hot with all this gear. My feet are warm. Bessie boots, you guys don't have them. They're waterproof boots. I wear like slipper socks with them. My feet stay warm even if my shoes get wet. Yes, I have frumpy clothes on. Yes, I had a jacket with a zipper on. We have it open so that way the zipper can kind of go on the side. Little things that can help make a difference, but I really didn't have to brush up against the vehicle that much. We used the brush to wash it. That did a great job at just cutting through all of the dirt. We did do a heavy clay tile treatment, but now when I see the vehicle, even though it's wet, I'm not seeing like grit on the surface. I'm just seeing water. So that means we have a smooth surface. Now we're going to dry, move on to our extraction step. But thankfully, we got that done very quickly, and it is 1 o'clock. I'm hoping to be done with this by 5, and I think we've got more than enough time. I'm not gonna ease off the gas pedal, because if I can get it done by 4, that's great. But we're going to extract. That should take about an hour, maybe less if we use the right tools and chemicals and the seats clean up quickly. And then we'll get our blower on the seats and then switch over to our paint enhancement. I'm using one of the new goat towels from the House of Rags to dry the vehicle as well as get all of our door jambs cleaned and dried out. Now, even though I do need to extract the interior just so that way we have as much time as possible for it to dry out, I want to do my test spot to determine how long the paint enhancement step is going to be. And I was actually surprised that with one step, we were able to cut through a majority of the oxidation on this paint, bring back gloss and shine, and even remove some of the heavier defects. The product that we were using was the Last Cut compounding glaze and a blue foam pad. Now I know how long that's gonna take, we can move on to the interior. So you can see we have some wicking here, but we were able to lift a lot of the dirt. We do have some stuff under the plastic, so we're gonna get that with our extractor, but we're gonna go ahead and extract. So the material on the inserts of these seats is like a faux suede. It's not true Alcantara, it feels like it, but regardless, this isn't the type of material that typically you want to heavily saturate. So even though we've got a ton of soiling, I am trying to minimize as much as possible how much extraction I do. So that's why I'm using professional chemicals. They foam, but not a lot where I'm chasing a ton of that residue. But I want some foam to help suspend the dirt and lift it to the surface. We did go 2 rounds with our chemicals and agitate heavily to try to break down all of the oil. You want to come in and immediately extract. It looks like they spilled some coffee or tea, so we have some tannin stains on the outskirts that we have to deal with. But hopefully by doing this, when things dry, we'll have a consistent, clean appearance on our seats. Now we're going to extract until my water looks clear, okay? That tells me I've got staining. We're gonna have wicking though. Now I'm just doing dry extraction. I'm just getting up all the liquid. No moisture being put down. Now we want a light colored towel, preferably. You don't want any color transfer. We're gonna come in. Try to get anything that might be on the surface. We will have wicking. We will, especially here and here. Okay, that's where we're going to treat with our spot stop. But I rinsed until I had clear water. So you can see my towel. That might be even some of the gray color, but for the most part, it's coming up clean. Now anything that comes up was just deep in our fibers that I couldn't pull up. You don't need to keep chasing it. A lot brighter, more consistent. This is a stain. I don't know what it was, but the cleaner didn't touch it. So clean what you can clean. If I were to try to come in with an aggressive stiff brush or a different chemical, you could potentially burn or damage this material because it can be a little bit on the sensitive side. But at least if she spills anything on this in the future, it should have a clean appearance versus pushing all that dirt out and then having a clean stain. So you can see we had a coffee spill right here. We reactivated it. Still have this here. In fact, I'm gonna hit this one more time. And then we're gonna actually get, I love these little mother's brushes. I buy like 4 or 5 of them at a time, and you can see they do get matted down. But they're great for doing this. Getting in those tight areas. Giving me that extra agitation in the tight spaces that my round brush can't get into. In our brush. Now we extract. Whenever extracting light colored interiors, they kind of have no mercy. You have to extract until you get a majority of the soiling out of the carpets, or it's just going to kind of look like crap. All of the deeper soiling that was still left behind is going to rise back up to the surface, reappear as wicking, and just make it look like you shouldn't have done it at all. So whenever you're extracting light colored interiors, I always use hot water, and you'll notice that I'm angling my head in multiple different directions to make sure that I have as much contact with the extractor head with the surface to try to pull all of the dirt out of the carpet. I don't want to take this off all the way. So even though my gut was telling me that this was someone else's contents from their gut, the customer insisted it was spilled soup from a crock pot. I do wish hindsight that I would have used Omegazyme versus Omega Citrus, not because it couldn't handle the soiling, but because maybe it would have helped go after odor-causing bacteria a little bit more. When we were done extracting, the interior smelled much better, but we still had kind of a little bit of a funk on the inside that we still need to deal with, that I think an enzyme solution would have helped go after a little bit more, but hindsight is always 20/20, and the soiling is now gone. What do you guys think? Pass or fail? So we got the right side of the vehicle done. We've got our blower on our seat to get it dry. This is the one that you guys are all, I know, you're itching to see what we can do. Do not skimp on your chemical. And again, don't expect a miracle with the kind of perforations on the carpet, because that's more than likely staining from our mat. Nice surprises though. We did blow out, so now we agitate. And remember, you should see the level of clean you're gonna get after the agitation step. I wanna see this brighter, so we're gonna come in with more chemical. Take your time. That's probably a stain. We might have a little bit of an uneven appearance when this is done, but hopefully not.
1,000 years later.
This seat took forever to extract. We actually did most of it off camera. We did a first round with our Omega Citrus, and that did a nice job, but I still was struggling with a good bit of dirt left behind. So we switched it to Rocket Revive It, and surprisingly, that got a little bit more dirt out, and this was the end result. It's not where I wanted it to be, but it's where it's gonna be. Now that our seats are done, we're gonna get the blower on them to try to get them as dry as quickly as possible, and now it's time to tackle these mats. Oh boy. We got black. So even though we had tried to get as much of the loose soiling out of this mat as possible, you can see that this is years worth of dirt just deep in the fibers of the carpet. And whenever you're dealing with heavily soiled mats like this, I probably could have benefited from pressure washing them just to blast the dirt out, but it was so cold I wasn't able to. So at this point, I have to extract until I have clean water, and you cannot half-ass dirty mats like this. You have to go until you pretty much have clean water coming up. So this is going to take forever. I think I extracted this one mat for 10 minutes alone. We're gonna be here for a while. Stay tuned till the end to see how this mat turns out, but let's move on. Use our soup mat.
For those of you that want to learn more about interiors, make sure you subscribe and hit that notify bell, because in the next couple of weeks, we're actually going to be doing some live videos where I share with you guys more information and tips on how to get better at interior detailing.
You got a hairball. Doesn't that look so much better? That's the level of clean we should get.
Even though we didn't have as much dirt in this carpet, we did have more stains that we had to deal with. Now, the soup, we were able to very quickly extract. And using hot water, it's going to be able to combat a majority of the soils and stains that you're dealing with that we don't need steam. But one thing you do need is to clean in multiple directions, especially when you're dealing with light colored interiors that have heavy soiling. You don't want to just clean your mat in one direction and then be done, because you'll notice this looks clean, but not as clean as we could get it. But when you turn your mats, and sometimes I'll actually clean it in 4 different directions, you're going to lift the pile of the carpet and be able to get more dirt that can be trapped under the fibers when they get matted down.
The water is coming up clear. We got majority of our residue up. Just gonna help prevent resoiling. Now we do happy treat. I like to do kind of a scallop pattern. And we're done.
Now, unfortunately, I don't have any footage of me polishing the vehicle other than my test spot, because we were running so short on time because extracting took so long that I ended up polishing it off camera. But you'll see I'm wiping off all of the polish residue with a rinseless wash, and then before I come in and dry our rinseless wash off, I'm spraying 1 or 2 sprays of Envy ceramic sealant from DIY Detail to add protection simultaneously. Not only does this help save energy because I'm not having to wipe off all of our polish residue with a dry towel and potentially marring the paint, but I can actually safely remove the polish residue and protect the vehicle simultaneously. Really happy with the amount of gloss that we were able to get with this combination. We cut through all of that dead paint and oxidation, and now added protection to help make this vehicle look years younger. The seats and carpets are already dry thanks to our dry pod blower. Now all I need to do is dial in all of our plastics and get our glass cleaned, and we're done. So we are on the home stretch, focusing on getting all of the sticky stuff cleaned off. We're using Yum Interiors at a 1-to-1 dilution ratio, using various scrub pads in our blower, and we're making quick work of this interior.
Good.
Ooh, I see dirt. Thank you. I would have missed that.
Even though I didn't use an enzyme solution to go after odors, our Yum Interior has a eucalyptus scent that smells so clean and so fresh. So this inside smells so much better. And just a quick tip for those new customers. You know you're a real detailer when you use a scrub pad to clean a large surface area versus a detailing brush. Those are only TikTok detailers that are trying to get views. You want to clean intricate areas with your detailing brushes, but large surface areas, you definitely want to use a scrub pad and a blower to blow out all the liquid. That's how we get such good deep cleaning results. We're using forced air to blow out dirt and liquid from all the intricate nooks and crannies. This is pretty much the only area of the vehicle, cup holders and buttons, that I will use a detailing brush around. Sometimes I'll even use a dental pick if we've got a lot of crumbs alongside the plastic pieces. You just want to be very careful around electronics that you don't spray moisture directly into them. But for those that want to know how professional detailers get areas like this so well cleaned, here's how.
Clean in every direction. Get all the sticky stuff up. Probably gonna have to rinse this brush out. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Get the big stuff, but leave that liquid.
Even if there's a little bit of dirt in some of those nooks and crannies, the forced air and the liquid combined will help blow the dirt out.
And then we mop up again. Okay, now we gotta fine tune this. This this. I'm not gonna spray cleaner directly on the screen. Alright, you could burn it, but diluted, you can go over it with your cleaner. Just make sure from doing this that we turn everything down when the vehicle gets turned on, because sometimes it'll just turn on at Mach 10. This is the one area of the vehicle that gets looked at the most, so you just want to make sure you don't miss anything. Yeah. We're clean.
When this younger customer brought her vehicle in to be detailed, the interior was actually her priority. She didn't really care about the exterior, just thought maybe a good wash is all it needed. After we pointed out some of the issues that was going on with the paint, she was relieved when we were able to polish and just bring back some gloss and shine. Even though we weren't able to reverse some of the damage that had occurred, we were able to at least slow down some of the bigger damage and prevent costlier repairs for her. The interior was really all she was most excited about. The stains from the soup were gone, and even the seats, she was pleasantly surprised, as was I, at the results we were able to get. Some of the stains were permanent, but from where we started to where we landed, this interior was a night and day transformation, and she was actually most excited about the interior. All in all, in 8 hours time and about a $500 budget, we were able to transform this vehicle for our customer. Sometimes when you have major issues, you're not going to be able to do a ton when you have a limited budget. But you can see, even when we have $500 budget, you can make a huge change on your vehicle to help restore equity and preserve your investment. For those of you that have an older vehicle that maybe you're looking to put a little bit of TLC back into it, give us a call. I'd love to be able to help you fall back in love with your vehicle. So we are finally all done with our Toyota Camry. It's actually 6:20 at night. Customers coming in about 25 minutes to pick it up. I am super tired, but I'm also super satisfied with how everything turned out. I don't know how long it's been since this vehicle was detailed. I would guesstimate probably at least a year, if not longer. You could see where there had been an excess amount of dirt on the roof and on the trunk, and where there's almost brush marks from a snow brush. So my guess is that it's been almost 11 months, if not longer, since the vehicle's been washed. Interior wise, it really wasn't too terribly bad. We just had more stains than soiling, although the mats did have a ton of embedded soiling within them. But I was actually really happy with how everything turned out on the inside. It's not 100%. When you've had a little bit of time go on since you've managed the exterior and interior, sometimes there's only so much you can do in one day. We probably could have done wet sanding and heavy correction to remove more of that dead paint on the surface. But to stick to our customer's budget and to get it all done in a day and to remove bigger issues so that she doesn't have clear coat fail in the future, I think honestly, we had a great turnaround. So if you guys have any questions about any of the process or products that we used in this video, let me know your questions in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys give us a thumbs up and subscribe so that way you don't miss out on any of our future details. But thanks guys for watching. Hopefully you learned something new today, or you just simply enjoyed the video, but we'll see you guys in the next detail.